has come in.
All right, we are live. And let me go ahead and get the link for this really briefly. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will go ahead and share the YouTube link. I think that's probably the most realistic place here. Let's just make sure we're live. Yep, I see us live.
Yeah, it looks like we're live.
We are live. I'm just going to post that out to the Discord. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll give you just a couple minutes to trickle on in. Thanks for being here, David. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining. It's the educator of the space, doing a great job. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Just enjoying this new day, and just everything looks great, man. Working on that education.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Hey, XRP Gordy, good to see you. Go ahead, if you guys come in, just say hi. Let us know you can hear us. Can you hear us? Want to make sure we're not talking to ourselves here.
Right.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time. Hi, Novato says hi. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Anybody who has questions after you come in, once we get started just talking about some things, post your questions on Twitter, on YouTube, in the Discord, and we'll go ahead and answer those. Except for Gordy says you can hear us. Awesome. Cool. Right. I am going to do a couple things. So really briefly, so I know we are going to pick the zone winners. I'm unlocking my ledger here, excuse me. I know we're going to pick the zone winners, but we're also just going to kind of talk. We're going to hang out. We're just going to talk about Zeta. We're also going to just highlight really quickly, really briefly, just for a quick minute, the AMA that I did yesterday. Let me go ahead and add my screen up here. So go ahead and check out the AMA from yesterday on our YouTube. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That helps us. We're trying to get the subscriber count up a little bit. There's some things that once you hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, unlock. So go ahead, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. But check out the AMA from yesterday. So in the AMA, go over a newly updated roadmap for 2022. We go over the September profits report. We go over some changes that are going to come in the Discord, what we're working on as far as the audits. We do have our audit pretty much finished at this point. The HFT going live in pretty much less than a week. All that fun stuff. There's a lot of stuff to check out, and it's a long video, so I'm going to break that up and break it out into separate videos as well. While we're on that subject, let me show really quick just a couple of really brief points. We'll just be a minute here on the actual AMA from yesterday. So this is the profit report from September, and this is a lot of numbers. Worry about it. Go over this in the video, and I'm going to post this. I'm going to do separate videos and blogs and all sorts of stuff. So I'll break this out for you. But 56% on just a high frequency trading in 2 months. That's during one of the worst markets I think we've seen in traditional finance in quite some time, right? We're talking the British pound, the euro, we're sitting at all-time lows. Gold is coming down. I mean, silver is back to where I was buying it years ago, which I never thought I'd ever see below $20 again. So still making over 26% in that market, right? Which we're going to start fine tuning this just a little bit. So check that out in the AMA as well. So what I'm going to also do is show the roadmap. Now, we did in the roadmap, let me zoom in here, show what we did, what we're going to do, and we're going to let you know when we do it. So we've got the friend zone system that was obviously in September, as you know. So that allows when you share the news about Zeta to your friends that you get rewarded for doing so. We obviously launched a blue chip. I'm going to show that in just a second. Some updates, obviously the claim system, the claim limit update, I should say, as well as the membership, where if you are a little bit behind on your monthly membership fee, that you still accrue rewards. We don't take them away from you. We actually still get them. So if you're a few days late, you still accrue your rewards. So that was updated as well. High frequency trading, we're looking at about a week or less at this point, okay? And that's going to be the service that I think a lot of folks are looking forward to. I've done some videos on what the past performance looks like for that. So go ahead and check that out as well. And Uncharted, this is an NFT project that is a part of a partnership with The Move. Now, The Move is going to be an NFT digital marketplace. It's going to include crowdfunding, fractional investments, as well as yield-bearing NFT collections. And one of those first collections will be Uncharted. And inside of Uncharted will be a business-to-business mechanism for projects that want to get involved in Zeta, but they don't want to go through the whole zone process. So how do we find a way to allow them to get involved without harming the community with token dumping, but also benefit the community at the same time? So there's going to be a mechanism in there that's going to allow for that. And again, too, remember the passive income space is like this small and the NFT space is like this big. So we're trying to bring more communities together because there's lots of communities in the crypto space as well. And of course, we have the private equity fund that's getting pushed out to November along with the accelerators. Now, that's just a really brief kind of overview. Here's something that I want to show you guys. And, you know, a lot of people, they always kind of wonder, like, how does Zeta work? What is this thing? Why is it different? And all of this other sort of fun stuff. So I'd like to show you something. This is the blue chip financial service. So a lot of people may or may not even see this because they don't have 25 zones. Okay, so this is a test account that I have. Now, when you accrue rewards in these projects, typically what happens is you have to sell. Okay. And you have this problem where the project can't keep up with the sales. So what makes Zeta different is that you have something to do with your token besides selling that, in my opinion, is even better than selling. That's blue chip equity trading service, which is what we're looking at here. Private equity coming soon. High frequency trading coming literally soon, within a week or less. These are things that get you an ROI without you ever having to sell. That's the key point. That's what gives the utility. That's what makes this different. So just looking in this for a minute. So you check this out. So in this blue chip account, I have 10 Zeta. So you can see what that equals. So that means I can actually deposit $1,039.60 into these blocks of $250. So I only need as little as $250 in order to get into these. And each pool has different equity sectors. So if I go over this one says consumer. So that means if I buy these blocks, I'm buying blocks that will be sent to Gaxis for investing in the consumer equities. If I look at this one says pharmaceutical. Same thing, goes to pharmaceutical. So it gives you options, it gives you utility, it gives you something to do, real world use case. And guess what? We actually accept our own currency, which I know is pretty rare in of itself. David, I know you've been looking at Zeta for some time. You put out some content. You have anything you want to share? Any thoughts as I'm going through any of this stuff?
Yeah, man. I think that, you know, so far, I mean, it looks like one of the most reliable models that I've seen, you know, as far as the circular reward system, you know, that Strong Block pretty much, you know, wrecked with everybody, you know. So, yeah, I like it. I love it a lot, man. And the blue chip services is what I really think that people are interested in, you know, how it works and how to get involved with, you know. And so I'm glad you touched on that. But also, you know, you guys can check out the YouTube video that I just posted on Zeta yesterday, breaking down, you know, doing a review of Zeta, you know, and on my Twitter right now. Actually, you can go to Twitter. I think there's a bit of a lag.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag. It's coming up though.
I see Veggie Sema in the chat. Shout out to Veggie Sema and Kobe Barger.
Yeah. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. If you have any questions, please let us know in the Discord. Let us know in the Twitter, in the YouTube, wherever you're watching, and let's see if we can answer those. So I think we're having a little bit of a lag where it's not showing your screen or something. There we go.
Oh, actually, you know what? I think I moved it to I went to go follow you guys. Went to go share this.
He's watching the stream like everybody else should be doing, right?
Yeah.
Practicing what he's preaching. Yeah, you gave a great video, I know, that kind of highlighted Zeta. It talked about in just a couple of short minutes, you know, what's different, how we work. There it is. Is that it?
Yeah, check out this video, you guys. Go ahead and tweet it out and share it and let everybody know, man, because the thing about passive income is it's real. And people, you know, there's a lot more people out there that are interested in this type of space and they just don't understand it. And so, that's why I want to make sure we spread the good news of projects like this and let people know the type of opportunities that are available, because it's like we're keeping them out. We're keeping them out and away from what's the good thing right now. And so that's what I think I see, and that's why I keep wanting to share projects like Zeta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the interesting thing is, everybody I think in this space is sort of trying to crack the code, so to speak. I think
Right.
to me, so there's always this. We go through phases in the market of catchphrases. I mentioned this in my AMA yesterday. Passive income is always a catchphrase, but nodes were a catchphrase at a point, right? DAOs were a catchphrase at a point. RPC endpoints were a catchphrase at a point. And I think right now we are seeing trading bots is kind of the next catchphrase that, is spurring up, and you're going to see more of. But the key thing is, do they make enough to stay ahead of their emissions, right? That to me is where utility comes in, because if you don't have utility, if you don't have anything to do with the token, there's only one thing to do, and that's to sell. So I think we need to see a new wave of projects that actually allow you to do something, not just allow you to dump, because you now have to stay ahead of the dumping, right? But there's some balancing act that has to be there with the utility. But if you give people something to do, you create it, in my eyes, like a real economy. And it's really crazy to me that these projects don't seem to accept their own token many times. And I understand the reason. You've got to have some serious, money to be able to pull that off. But again, it's a great system, I think, if it's put in its proper environment. This reward system that's been created by Strong originally. If it's put in its proper environment, like a plant, a delicate plant, if you put it out in the desert, it's going to probably die. It's nothing wrong with the plant. Something wrong with the environment. So if you put it in its proper environment, I think it can flourish. Personally,
I totally agree with that. And I'm just impressed, at this point to see you, come from, being just a community member and an educator to, a founder, and I think it's amazing, that you guys
thanks.
have
Thanks.
built this.
Well, I'll tell you, I had no problem backing projects if they did what they said they were going to do. But it turns out that I think they started out with an idea, but as things start to crumble, you just sort of do things and you don't really put your community first. So I think you look at this and you build it right in advance. And there's always going to be curveballs and things you didn't see coming, but it's how do you put the community first when you do that? Do you just come one day and say, hey, guess what? Everything you have is gone. Bye. Or, hey, all of a sudden, 20% tax now on everybody. No warning, no nothing, stuff like that. And it's like anytime I see that type of stuff, it's like it's just a matter of time at that point.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not community oriented, then in Web3 and in decentralized finance, it's not going to work, because that's how everything starts. That's how things are built. And that's what it's all about. If we can't have some sort of edge in the market where we have a decision, because, you're seeing a lot of the stock traders come into the crypto market because of the freedom aspect. We actually have a say so. We have a part. If the majority of the community doesn't like a decision that Zeta is going to make, then I'm pretty sure you guys are going to, try to reform that decision because the community is not happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
right. Well, yeah, no, I was just going to say, I totally agree. And I think a lot of these projects, they are built up because of the community, but there comes a point where the founders sort of forget that, and they kind of forgot that the community got them there, right? And it's sort of like, well, we're going to put ourselves first and we'll put the community later. We're going to walk away and really you don't get anything from it, even though you got us here, right? We don't really care about that. Now, whether it started off that way or just kind of, I should say de-evolved that way, is up for debate. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, if you put your community first, there's a saying, and I think the saying goes something like, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want. But we tend to see founders sort of reverse that, and they try to get what they want first, and then they try to help the community, which I can understand the idea of helping yourself so you can help other people, but I like to put other people first and try to help other people first. So appreciate that. Thanks. Somebody's asking, let's see. It's Bernie Nice from the Discord. How you doing? He wants to know if Uncharted will work for business to business only, or individual members can partake. Both. It's going to be both. You'll see. I'm going to hold off on releasing too much about that because we're a couple weeks, like 2-3 weeks, something like that out. It'll be both. You'll see more about that. So Matthew Miller is wondering, what is actually the Zeta Technologies, an investment platform? Kind of, sorta, yeah. So it's I look at decentralized finance and crypto and traditional finance out here. This is kind of like where the big boys play. This is where us common folk are trying to get ahead. And I'm seeing how do we bring both of these together? How do we take where the big boys play and bring it and make it available for the common everyday sort of Joe like myself and us, probably most of us watching. So that's where having enough zones creates the buying pressure, creates the utility if you have enough, right? Stuff like that I always wanted. It's really stuff that I want. I'm being a little selfish because this is stuff that I wanted, Ryan, just kind of sharing it with you guys, which is having something where you can take your tokens without ever selling them and putting them into like an equities trading. Right now, you're not trading it. There's a professional wealth management company trading it. You just take the profit, right? Private equity, which you typically have to be an accredited investor. Again, you get the profit, but there's a wealth management company taking care of it. High frequency trading, stupid stuff like 20, 25% or more per month ROI, the type of stuff where you need computing power and low latency networks and algorithms and consoles and millions of dollars to build. Being available for the common Joe like myself. So that to me is bringing DeFi, what the promise of DeFi has always been anyway, bringing where the big boys play and kind of bringing both of those worlds together. So hopefully that answers you. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Mick Knowles says community and utility is, I think he meant to say key. Community and utility is key, man. I 100% agree with that.
You gotta have both. You gotta have both. I mean, imagine if you had this sort of utility and you made it a closed group, 100 people are in, that's it. I mean, and you didn't even get a chance to know about it. You got to have the community. And I love our community, by the way. I mean, I know everybody says this, but our Discord really is very amicable and very, even if people sometimes disagree, it's like nobody's fighting each other. Nobody's calling each other's names. And every Discord seems to start off that way, but they don't stay that way. It gets to be a point where they grow and the sort of like the inmates are running the prison, but we've done a really, really good job. And it's really a testament to our community, our moderators. Please give the moderators a shout out, give JT a shout out. He's doing a great job of making sure the environment is friendly and welcoming. And that's part of having a great community, man. So I just love our community and utility. Those are the two things you need.
Right. That's
100%.
right.
100%. So let's see. So in this bear market, David, what do you think? Actually, are we in a bear market? Some people don't agree. Some people say we are. It's just a downtrend. It's going to go on until the next halvening. What do you think? Where are we at?
I think because of the massive correction of Bitcoin, it was last year was a high of 67,000. And now we're, sitting at like 18, 19,000 with Bitcoin. So obviously it's a bear, right? But the thing is, this bear is much higher than the last bear. So that's why sometimes people get confused and they're like, we're not at the bottom. But we don't know because, the last bear was much lower. And that's what market cycles are. And so far, what I would say is that, I think that it's very impressive for a project like Zeta to launch in a bear market. Excuse me. And I think that leaves a lot of potential on the table, especially since, there's currently roughly 10,000 tokens circulating. And, you guys doesn't have a model that just consistently dumps tokens without a purpose, and I think that is a really, bullish thing, for the next bull cycle. And, the fact that you guys are have launched in the bear market and, it's not about surviving, but it's more like being able to thrive. Like I see the thriving, I see the growth, and that's what's impressive the most. And so I think that once the next bull market comes, I think that Zeta is going to be one that a lot of people wish they got in, and they're probably going to get in on the all-time highs. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, some people said, why would you want to launch in a bear market? And I had this big influencer saying every project launches in a bear market fails. Of course, look at Avalanche, you look at a lot of projects launching in bear markets and they're doing just fine. But I kind of look at it like this, a lot of the projects that launched in bull markets, people really weren't doing their research, right? And because it was a bull market, people were pulling money from here and moving it into this thing They didn't even know what it was, but it had the word node in it, right? And you know, we all kind of did that, I think, a little bit, right? But I think when you're in a bear market or a downtrend, whatever you want to call it, it really forces you to have to do your research more. It really forces you to have to know what it is you're putting your money in, and really things have to cut the mustard. And you have to look deeper into this type of stuff. And when you see something, in my opinion, right, I'm biased, of course, when I would see something like this as a community member, wait a minute, I can come in and do this thing and have these zones and participate in something with my token besides selling it that actually still gets me an ROI that, in my opinion, is better than selling. I want a piece of that. Like I said, it's kind of like something that I wanted selfishly. So I built it for myself, but it's like, you know, here it is. We're in the bear market. So let's have the projects that can really prove themselves. And, you know, I almost feel like if you're in a bull market, it's sort of like anybody who has ever sold anything online in e-commerce. If you launch your product just before Black Friday, you're probably going to do well, right? Into Christmas. It doesn't mean that long-term you're going to do well. What dictates long-term success is, can you survive the times when nobody wants to buy, right? Can you survive the times when all of the projects are pretty much, you know, sucking, right? For lack of a better word, when the whole space sucks and everything's going down and all the bad news comes out and all this stuff. Can you actually make it then? Because if you can make it then, you can make it in the bull market. That's my opinion.
Huge shout out to Matthew Miller and Crypto Sunrise. Matthew Miller says, Crypto Sunrise says, promises made, promises kept. And that's one of the things that I find the most impressive. You know, you guys are like dead on time. You know, it's like every time you say something is going to happen, it happens on time. And that's a huge, thumbs up for this project, right? And also, I see another question from Matthew Miller. He says, what's the difference between a DeFi P2P exchange like DYDX and Zeta?
So we're not in exchange. Let me put it this way. Not yet. I'll put it that way. I won't really say what that means. We're not really in exchange. I don't know what DYDX is, but it sounds like it's a peer-to-peer, like almost like a DEX, so to speak. So we use Pangolin. We're partnered with Pangolin. We are going to have our own separate DEX, of course. But right now, you can buy Zeta on Pangolin. So we are not a DEX. We are a place to take the token, build zones, get enough zones, get access to financial services, take your tokens, put it into the services, get an ROI without ever having to sell. So it's real world use case and it's real world utility. But a DEX is coming soon as well. Neil, thank you. Appreciate it. We got some people in. So somebody's asking in the Discord, they are wanting to know, are we going to be jumping on marketing anytime soon? Because some other folks have been talking about how it's a disgrace to accredited investor rules in the USA compared to other countries. By the way, you can become an accredited investor easier in the US now. It's actually more of a paperwork thing. Maybe I'll get into that at some point. But Zeta has a solution that needs to be shouted from the rooftops. True. You're right. So I like to see all of the services out personally, or at least the vast majority of them before marketing starts, because I want to go to people and say, this is ready. This is ready for you to use. You can come in now and use this. I don't want somebody to come in right now and marketing dollars are spent and they're like, well, the HFT is a week, I'll kind of wait. And by the way, I think most people are in that category, by the way. Just my opinion, of course. But I have a pretty, I think, good idea what the sentiment is. I think most people are just waiting for the HFT and private equity, by the way. I really want to show a picture of the private equity. I'm not sure the team will let me do it. I'll see if I can work on it, by the way.
To get some clarity, what is the tier? Like, what is the zone tier for the HFT, for the high frequency trading?
Thanks for asking. I assume everybody knows. So the blue chip that I showed earlier, that requires 25 zones. Okay, so you get the 25 zones, that unlocks. If you get to 50 zones, the private equity will unlock. If you get to 75 zones, a high frequency trading unlocks. So, you know, again, it's like a good, better, best sort of approach. The blue chip is a very low risk sort of, place to put your Zeta tokens in that, you know, you're looking at probably like a 15 to 20% per year ROI. Now that's fantastic if you were to go to anybody in traditional finance. In DeFi, it's okay, it's all right, but it's a very low risk. It's just trading equities back and forth, in and out. And I did show some past performance on that. how Gaxis has outperformed just holding the equities themselves over a 1, 2, and 3 year period. Private equity is very interesting because private equity is typically something that you need to be, like I said, an accredited investor. And I know we have like Link2 and some other platforms like that, but the real good private equity are the ones that are negotiated by like wealth management, like institutions, right? That you are a member and a client of. So those are the ones, like imagine if you had gotten into Coinbase early or Stripe, you know, we're currently in Stripe in Zeta, things like that. So you can put your tokens in. The USD value is then put into private equity. That's a hodl. Private equity is more of a longer term hold. But at some point, when these equities go public and they do very, very, very well, if you hold long enough, can actually outperform high frequency trading. You take your profits in as USD coin. So check this out. So you put your Zeta token in, you take USD coin out, right? So your Zeta token just never really gets sold in that instance. And the
So
same case goes with
the Zeta token? What happens to the Zeta token that they put in to access that pool?
Yeah. So we have a couple of different ideas. I mean, it could be sent to the rewards pool, right? I mean, this is essentially what it is it's a really fancy buyback. Essentially, it's I would say buyback with a purpose. You can hashtag buyback with a purpose. It's you know, your Zeta token is put into these pools like I showed earlier, right? And what happens is it's bought on the back end with profits. The US dollar then is exchanged and goes into these services on your behalf. Now you're trading on US dollar. You're not trading on Zeta anymore, but you use your Zeta to get in. You never actually had to sell. So what we do with those tokens, it can go back to liquidity, it can go back to a rewards pool. It's going to really be dependent on the business need at the time, I would say.
Okay.
So, question.
I see a question from Andrew Fornos Garcia. Shout out to Andre. I think that's Burning Ice.
Burning Ice. Yeah.
It says, after all 3 Fs are launched and running, when can we expect something out for members with 5, 10, 15 zones?
So a couple things to that. There's a I don't want to share what it is yet. Gavin has a wonderful idea for bridging a lot of these other communities that have been really hurt, right? It's something that's really going to help them and something that's going to introduce them into kind of what it is we're doing. Aside from that, we've been discussing some different things, like could we potentially allow a less, how do I want to word this? Like kind of like a lower tiered access to some of the existing services. Okay, so could we do something like partial access to the blue chip if you had 10, or partial access to the private equity if you had 15, or partial access to the HFT if you had 20, stuff like that. I don't know that we're going to do that, but we're talking about potentially doing something like that. Also, we've discussed maybe some services for the 10, 15, and 5 that are totally separate from the other 3. It could be stuff like debit and credit cards, stuff like that. We've discussed a lot of different things. So I would say fairly soon, but not like right away, right? I'd say give it about a quarter or so, maybe less. We definitely have to talk about how the existing services perform relative to bringing out anything new. So that's kind of the idea. That's a great question. And don't worry, everybody low as well as everybody super high is not going to be forgotten. You have to have stuff for the whales. You got to have stuff for the people just starting out. You got to have stuff in between. Right now, we're building more of the in between. That's why you got 25, 50, and 75. It's like a perfect little stepping stone there as well. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll through the Discord. Let's see if anyone's got any questions.
What channel are you in on the Discord? What channel?
I'm looking at the Zeta chat as well as the general chat, as well as the Prime chat for the whitelist folks. Nothing. Someone asked a funny question. I said I was going to answer it. So I have a funny story to this. So somebody says, I wonder how we can call what we do with Zeta Capital. What do you answer to the question, what is your work? This is kind of a running joke with me and my wife, because when I used to be in e-commerce, I was in a pet brand, and on Amazon, I built a really, really large private label brand. And we used to always joke, like, how do you describe what you do? Like when someone says, so what do you do for work? Well, I used to be in IT, so I always go back to what I used to do. And now it's even more difficult to explain. That hasn't gotten any easier. So honestly, I just say I'm an entrepreneur. Actually, I should say a serial entrepreneur that loves people, loves the Lord, and loves money all at the same time, right? Loves making money, put it that way. So that's kind of, I just say I'm an entrepreneur, essentially. You guys could just, you're part of the community and you're in cryptocurrency. And of course, as soon as you say cryptocurrency, people ask, Bitcoin, right? Everybody, actually, I had somebody bring some furniture to my house today and they're like, oh, did you get in on Bitcoin really early? So Bitcoin's kind of the go-to sort of question. I print magic internet money. Matthew says that's awesome. Yeah, I print magic. Great answer. But let's see. I'm just going to scroll up here, make sure I didn't miss anything. How about this? So, David, I'm going to ask you a question. So, what attracted you to Zeta when you first saw it? Right? I mean, what was, you looked at this, you said, okay, this is a little different than what's out there. Just kind of give your overall sort of thought process when you saw Zeta Capital.
Well, first things first, what made me look into Zeta initially was the fact that you were, the mind behind it. And I knew your experience. I knew your transparency, you know what I mean? And I always go to, I know that Showtime wouldn't be standing behind something that would, even if you could rug pull for 20 million, you know what I mean? But I just don't believe you'd ever stand behind something that wasn't, solid. And I didn't see that in you. So that was one thing that made me look into it. And then when I saw the solution you came up with, actually backing your project with traditional finance, and in so many sectors, I saw the potential for, what happens with all these projects, right? People want to put their money in and they expect more money out. So the question in the elephant in the room is, where is the extra money coming from, right? And I see that you guys actually took the time to figure out a strategy that generates more revenue, based on, and the big thing is that you guys invested your own money to build this. You didn't come out and have this ICO or this fundraiser, which you did a pre-sale, but you already had the thing working, And I looked into, I didn't have to really look into the contract because I trust you, but I did, and I didn't see a bunch of, all this funny stuff that I see with these other projects, So it just gave me a clearer view of what this project could be if it actually had utility. And the fact that, you guys have the decks, the trading decks with Pangolin that's built in. You also have these different services that you're trying to evolve into. You have blue chip and high frequency trading coming, but I see so much more, with the fact that you have a DEX, and I just see so much more happening in the future for this project. So that's really what, attracted me, and it has me here still, because I know that I want to share passive income with people, right? But we need a legit place to go to. And so I see Zeta evolving into that place.
Well, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. And yeah, I think, that's also why, in the roadmap, we're looking into the NFT community, because there's more out there even than just the community we have. There's more to crypto even than just passive income and DAOs and, all this kind of stuff. There's NFTs. I know, you're big on the NFTs. There's obviously the passive income space. There's the HODL space. There's, all sorts of different spaces. And I think one of the shames is a lot of these projects, they start out a certain way and they kind of stay that way. And it's sort of like, what's the bigger vision here? There has to be something bigger. So someone had used the word in the AMA question channel, like, what's the plan for world dominance? So this is the plan for world dominance, is to bring more communities in. It's to do more for more people out there in the world of crypto that is far beyond just the space we're in, because the space we're in, man, it's like a grain of sand, quite frankly. I know it looks huge. It looks like everybody's there's millions of people. There's really, it's not, it's tiny. So how do we bridge not just traditional finance and decentralized finance? How do we bridge communities? How do we give people something with a purpose, whether that's zones or whether that's NFTs or whether that's something in the real world talking about? There's a lot of things we can do in crypto, and we got to use blockchain, I think, to make the world a better place, not just for a quick buck, rug pull type of thing.
Right. And I think that's really cool that, you see the vision as bridging communities, because that's a very powerful thing. It's not always just about the money. We need money to make these things work, but bridging communities is a power move.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to touch on the NFT thing, that's huge. The NFT community is a huge place, and people, we love NFTs, because it gives you proof of, ownership immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's so amazing about it. So I'd love to see Zeta working in the NFT space. That's going to be crazy. That's something that I'm really anticipating right there.
Oh, if you guys could see some of this artwork with our partnership, the move, it'd blow you away. I'm not even an NFT person, to be honest. Like I'm not like I don't really own any NFTs. I'll just be honest, but even I want to own these after I saw them. I'm like, these are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's taking care of the community that has taken care of a project when they put that there. To me, there's no greater vote of confidence in putting your money into something. That's the ultimate vote of confidence, in my opinion. So
Mhm.
it's treating that community with respect and treating the money like I've always said, it's kind of like with treating your parents' money. If your parents gave you money to invest in crypto, and they have, I'm way more cautious with their money than I am with mine. So I look at the community the same way, man. It's not just a dollar. That's a dollar someone had to sweat and work hard for to give to you. So treat it with respect and make sure you come back with 100 of them after the fact, right? That's the
Right,
ultimate goal.
right.
So yeah, let's see. Burn Nice says that the past couple of days he's seen some DeFi project founders joining the Zeta Discord. This is very bullish. Yeah, I see him coming in there.
Hey, I see a good question. I see a good question, man. Shout out to Justin Goodyear. Justin says, when is Accelerator going to start?
We're backlogged a little bit on that, and I'll tell you just because there are dashboard updates that have to be made just for the accelerators, just like there's dashboard updates that have to be made just for the private equity. So those are pushed out just a little bit. Wait until the roadmap comes out. I'll post that probably shortly after this today. I'll also make a short video on that. I'll make a blog and Medium article on that, and it'll highlight when all this stuff is coming out, including the accelerators. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And Crypto Sunrise is asking, any thoughts on the existing Node as a service, DeFi as a service, DeFi projects invest in Zeta to participate in the blue chip and HFT services? Yeah, the thoughts are that we're going to create a mechanism for that to happen that doesn't harm the community, because we've got a lot of projects coming to us for that exact purpose. Actually, a lot, more than a dozen have already had conversations with us about that. So that's part of a much larger master plan. I'll put it to you that way. Let's see. Somebody in the Discord has asked, can a further crash in the crypto market affect the value of Zeta? Like if Bitcoin were to drop another 80%, could you imagine?
Jesus.
Would that
80%.
80%, really? So I'm like, okay. Would that affect the price of Zeta? Well, I think any meltdown in markets can affect everything, because people start to panic, right? I've actually heard some statistic that I think is like 90% of all trading is done by bots, something crazy like that. So it's a trickle down effect. I mean, you got Bitcoin paired with things, you got Ethereum that gets affected by the Bitcoin pairs. All the things that are paired with Ethereum get affected, same with AVAX. So one of the things I like is that we are paired with USD coin. Okay, so unless USD coin's got a problem with them, that does, we're all, kind of screwed. But can it? Yeah, it can. I don't think as much as if we were paired with like a volatile asset, like say an AVAX, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. How about this? You want to look into picking a winner at this point? I know we got both of us ran a zone giveaway, as you guys may or may not know, and both of us have a randomized way that we're going to pick. He's got a little bit more of a fancy way, I'd say, actually. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to pull this one off. You got like a wheel or something, don't you?
Yeah, I got a spin wheel. I was thinking about, I'm not going to do that. I was going to give people a chance to get a second entry, but then I'd have to do a bunch of work, and I might hold up the giveaway. So I'm not going to do that. I got to do that.
Okay.
Hey, somebody's about to win something.
Well, I'll put it this way. We can always do more giveaways, right? Always do
right.
You know
What's the crazy thing, though? I think I mentioned to you this to you earlier, is that, the person who wins a zone, could potentially use that zone to make 3 more zones. Actually, 3.5. You should put 4 more tokens in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is crazy about this. Like somebody who potentially can't afford it could win today. And that could be great for them. And they could use that to create a real passive income stream. If that's the case.
Yeah, and the other thing too is they can also participate in the new Pangolin Super Farm. So they can participate in liquidity pool. They can also farm and earn PNG and Zeta. I got a whole video I did on that in our Zeta YouTube. So that's another utility point that, even in a lot of ways, depending on the APR and the farm at the time, could be more than actually just claiming your Zeta through your zones, which actually could accelerate the amount of zones you could make. So yes, to your point, you're right. You're right.
Wow. Cool. I actually just learned that. I didn't know that. I mean, I seen the farm, but I didn't know about the pair and how you could earn PNG and stuff. I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you basically put your USD coin and your Zeta in. You then get I went over this in the video. You get a liquidity pool token, and then you deposit a liquidity pool token into their farm, and then you earn PNG and Zeta. So now you're providing liquidity, which helps the protocol be less volatile. And you're also getting rewarded for doing so. So that's a big heads up to Pangolin for getting that set up for us.
Awesome.
Go ahead and check that out, guys, if you haven't already done so. You want to pick a winner, David? What do you want to do?
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and do it, man. I think I got 92 entries in there. Let's go ahead and switch it over. Let me check and see. Does it come on my screen? Okay, there we go. All right. So I do got about 92 entries here from the Twitter. So this is 100% random, everybody. That's why we're doing it live. I'm very excited about that. So I'm going, once I click that button, that's it. It's going to choose a winner. So let's see who's going to win. First zone up. Let's get it. All right, Ryan Dubs. Who is Ryan Dubs?
Check that out. Even the sound was cool, man. I was like, I just won a game show.
Right. Who is Ryan Dubs? Where's Ryan? Is Ryan in the chat?
Ryan Dubs, you around? Where you at? You can go ahead and tag him too.
Yeah, that's one of my Twitter followers. Let me go ahead and do that.
And by the way, if he wants to claim, he can also just DM me. I'll take care of him as well. If you'd like to just DM me or DM the Zeta Capital Twitter account.
All right, Ryan Dubs. I believe this is the guy. Let me double check right quick. Ryan Dubs.
We'll go ahead and tweet him out. We're tweeting him out live. Check this out.
Right, ain't that something?
So Jorge
So y'all know for sure I'm not a bot now.
Yeah. There's so many bots on Twitter, man. It's crazy. I think some of them even got into my giveaway I was doing.
Yeah.
So Jorge is saying, what is better rewards on Zeta, to compound or investing in HFT? Well, you could do both. What do I mean? So you can get the 75 zones, right? You can claim your Zeta, then you can put it into the HFT, or you could also, when you get to 75, say, I want to get to 100. You get to 100, and then you put in the HFT. That means you got more to put into the HFT, if that makes sense, right? So you know how people are kind of like, I want to get to 50 or 100 and 200. Then I'm just going to sell. Well, in Zeta, you don't have to sell. You can get to 50, 100, 200, and then put in the HFT. It's got the same concept, but then you have more value to deposit, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Good Vibe says, Ryan's my boy. So I'm guessing he knows him.
HFT stands for high frequency trading. That's like those bots that earn like 90% returns on trades and things like that. Like very high algorithmic bots that have a very good accuracy.
So Matthew, I did a video, oh boy, I want to say 6 weeks ago, maybe something like that, where I went over the HFT past performance report from Gaxis, but I also kind of talk about what an HFT is in that video. And I quote some of the people in our Discord that have not only built HFTs, but that do a lot of this trading themselves. right? So I was getting it straight from the people who do it that have like no affiliation to anything. And essentially, you need a few things, but what it actually is getting in and out of positions really quickly within milliseconds, right? So you need to have a few things in order to pull that off. You need an algorithm that is tweaked on a regular basis as the markets are changing. You need a console to make all the calls. You need high enough computing power, because you're talking a lot of computing power for a lot of these algorithms that are trying to predict and detect and get in and out and all this kind of stuff. But then most importantly, you need a low latency network. So we're talking like metro fiber direct connections close to the location. So then a lot of people lease this stuff out. So anyway, do a little quick Google search on high frequency trading and how these are built. Like the good ones, the institutional grade ones, they cost millions and millions and millions to build. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Well, Ryan Dubs, you are the winner. You are the winner.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That was a cool wheel, man. I like the sound. I'll have to use that in the future. That was cool. You felt like a winner when you heard that.
Yeah, man, and it's cool because I was able to put the Zeta in the middle. It's like, ooh, this is all about that zone, man. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So if you tuned into this live, then you could DM Showtime on Twitter. You should see him in that tweet for the giveaway, and from there you guys could you'll get that Zeta Zone to you, man. Congratulations, Ryan Dubs is my Zeta Zone winner.
Well done. Well done. Justin, the ROI is not dependent on how much you put in. So the past performance is like, I think, go and check our white paper. I don't have the numbers in my head at the moment, but we have a past performance for what the HFT has done and then what we predict it will do based on the current market and whatnot. The current prediction, the bottom is about 200%, if I'm remembering the number in my head. But go check the white paper. There's a specific area that shows, and also on our website. As a matter of fact, on Zeta Capital's website, financial services, we put it right in there. So you're going to get the same ROI whether you put 20 grand or 10 or 100 or whatever. So hopefully that makes sense. Am I getting this again? So this is just funny. I'll put it up here. I've gotten this ever since I used to work on my IT job. Somebody said that I look like Matt Murdock, and I didn't even know who they were talking about. But yeah. Someone called Disney. That's funny.
Bro, you don't know who Matt Murdock is, man?
I do now. I certainly do now after hearing it so many times. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to show my method of picking, which is not quite as cool as yours.
Not as complex. No,
so did you type all those names in the wheel manually?
Yeah, I did. I actually I went through and see, the only thing was that's why I didn't want to use the other one was because I felt when I went through, I saw that it didn't capture all of the retweets. And so I had like 90 retweets, but it was counting 60. So I went in and actually copied every single one of you guys' Twitter handle to make sure you were in that giveaway. So I want you to know that.
That's cool. Thank you for doing all that work, man. It's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. All right. I'm going to share my screen here. So my screen, as you can see here. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a website. Now I'm not endorsing a website, Twitter Picker. So I have, if I go back, let me go back here. So you can see I have my tweet loaded in here. And what this is going to do is just going to randomly pick two people. That's all it's going to do. So we had about 400 entries. It's a lot of retweets. There were some bots in there. I noticed bots, they do this. They see something, retweet this and do this, and then they all try to enter. So I did something to try to get rid of the bots. So I'm going to click begin draw. And if this works, it should just randomly draw two people. Oh, I don't need to show rejected. Let me turn that off. So now we need some Jeopardy music.
Oh,
look at that. So here's what I'm going to do here. I am going to check the entries and make sure that they retweeted and then mention three people. Okay, so if I check this gentleman, Tom, he did retweet it. Let me make sure that if he commented, I'm okay with that. That's cool. I'll take a comment too. Let me just check it out. And he did. So congratulations, Tom. He's the CEO at HVT Agency. Tom Perkins, you have won And this is actually one of our moderators here, Crypto Asset Investing. He is Daristrick in the Discord. I promise you this is random, guys. I promise it's random.
Wow.
Let's
I tried the same app. It's 100% random.
It's totally random. Totally random. So, all right. Well, our moderator won a second one. I might have to do another one, a third one, but those are the two that won. Go ahead. I obviously know who Daristrick is, but Tom Perkins, go ahead and reach out as well. I will tweet something. And by the way, this actually gives a draw ID that you could go on this website and check and verify that this was totally random. I might just give that draw ID. And yeah, you can go ahead and check this. So I'll go ahead and tweet out the winners a little bit later and get you guys going. Tom, we will go ahead and get you set up. Please go ahead and DM me if you're watching this in the meantime. Thank you for doing that. And make sure you enter our Discord. Really trying to build up the Discord. As a matter of fact, we are almost at 1,000 people. 986. Maybe we'll do something for the 1,000th person. Someone mentioned that, and then I said, hey, everybody's going to make a burner account and join. I'm kidding. Our community wouldn't do that. Oh, funny.
Somebody show up as number 1,000 and be like, did I win something?
Well, we'll make it random and hope you win, right? Justin, we are due in a month. Thank you for asking. Actually,
awesome, man. I didn't know you
it's
said
almost a month to the day, almost a month. So it's between everything going on with Zeta and then the baby, I probably am not. I mean, everybody says you don't sleep when you get a baby, and you just throw in a crypto business into that. And I'm sure you get a lot of sleep at that point, right? Oh, David is the man. David, you got a fan.
Thank you, Crypto Sunrise. You are the man or woman. I'm not sure, but you are too. Thank you.
You bet.
Man,
I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go back to our website, just kind of show you around the website a little bit. So if you guys want to go to zetacapital.com, you can check out the website. You can, by the way, I love our branding. I know I'm biased, but I love our branding. The website's still going to go and become more improved, if you can believe it. This is actually the second iteration of the website. It's going to become more improved as time goes on. And, I want you guys to kind of keep something in mind. So like I said, a lot of projects start and they finish the way they started. In other words, there's never really been a ton of improvements, right? When I say world domination, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to keep using that that someone mentioned. I really do mean that. There's lots and lots of stuff that we're doing behind the scenes that you're just going to have to wait and see. But I want to mention here, if you come to the website, scroll down, read the white paper, do all that kind of fun stuff. The financial services right up here will give you kind of an idea of the one that's out, which is the blue chip, and the next one coming, high frequency trading, and then private equity will be added, shortly after that. It gives you some idea of how this works. Point of entry is 25 zones. Pooled entry just means it's a giant pool with 25K. You can put as little as $250 in there. Okay, so you could literally put that low amount in there. Past 3-year performance. This is an aggregate, not per year, but 67.43% over 3 years. Forecast is 15%. Withdrawal structure, you can withdraw once a month. And then you get the high frequency trading. Past performance. I know this looks like it's not real, but it is over 1,000%. This is, again, 3-year aggregate. And then what the forecast is a 250 to 500% minimum. So that goes back to the question somebody was asking, like, hey, if I put 20 grand in, well, 20 grand of 250% in a year versus 100 grand it's doesn't really matter. It's the same sort of performance. And the cool thing is, the pooled entry is going to be $75,000. So it'll be a minimum of, I believe, $750. So you could literally put $750 worth of Zeta into this. You don't even have to put 75 grand. So like when I say that this is for like the average, common person, it really is. You just got to get, build your way up to the 75 zone mark. So check out the website, check out the white paper, join our Discord right down here where it says follow us on Twitter, Discord, and then just kind of look around, come in and ask questions. I'll answer your questions. Our moderators, JT's in there answering questions, all sorts of, so.
One more quick question. So with these services, stay right here. With these services, let's say a person has 25 zones, right? And all right, so obviously they're earning what, 2.5 tokens a day. So let's say 5 days go by, they have what, $1,200. So they allocate the 1,200 in Zeta. So is it set up? Is it possible that they could, like, the next day add more, the next day add more? Do they have to actually allocate that, or is it like, could they set it automatically to just compound a certain amount into the blue chip services?
So there's not an automated system yet. You kind of touched on that, but at the moment, no. So it's a manual process. But to part of your point, if you have Zeta today and then you claim tomorrow, you could take what you have today and you could take what you have tomorrow and you can keep adding it in. So it's not like a one-time thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like when people have cash out strategies, they're going to ROI. I mean, I've seen people say, I take profit once a month, right? So you could use this as part of your profit, right? So you could say once a week or once a month, I'm going to get to 75 zones first. I'm going to put into the HFT once a month. So now you never even had to sell your tokens, right? But you're going to earn this ROI without you doing any of this stuff. So this is all handled, right, by the professional wealth management firm. So you don't even have to bother with it. But to your point, we're actually working on something potentially to be like an automated process for it.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering, because I'm not able to access it yet, but I just wanted to know.
Correct. So we actually spoke about a potential auto compound function. It's kind of funny. We were joking around with the word auto zone because it's actually like a car store.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
But someone's going to go trademark that now. No, so something like that, potentially something like that for the financial services is we're working on it. It's guys, a lot of stuff in the internal roadmap. You'd blow your mind if you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool stuff. And then this isn't even counting the private equity. And it's not even counting a lot of other stuff, by the way, as well. But anyway, that is something, just, go ahead and check that out. Under resources, we have the agreements. So we show you the service agreements, right, between us and our wealth management firm. We show you our partners. We own equity in metaverses. Oh, man, you guys have to see a metaverse. I'm actually planning something with these guys potentially next week in AMA. We're going to see if we give away some beta testing spots. I'm going to try to get them to give some of those away. They've agreed to let me beta test it, which I'm really excited for. I'm going to live stream that. They said I can do it, so I'm going to be doing that. This is maybe one of the best metaverses I've seen, and it's adding in all sorts of real elements like a RPG, role-playing, sort of like almost like any of you have ever done like Grand Theft Auto online, kind of like that, but in the metaverse, customized characters and stores and real estate and just real money included, right? Just really, really cool. And we also own Delage stock, which is like they are making street legal supercars. Really, really cool. Just look, they own their own patents for like an aerodynamics car thing that I don't even understand, frankly. So this is really cool stuff that we show all this. We, of course, have the white paper. We have the news page, which is just like a blogs. This is where I write a lot of articles. I kind of give walkthroughs. So if I do an AMA, I'll go and write it out so you can read it if you want. I have a lot of tutorials on here, just a lot of really cool stuff to check out. Just check out the website. And of course, you can check out the team if you'd like to do that as well. So, David, I know you're working on some stuff. You and Chris, Lefty Chris, and you guys don't know Lefty Chris, check him out. What you got cooking? What do you got going on?
Man, we are cooking up some educational courses. And the good thing is that we're starting with complete beginners. So our goal is to onboard, complete beginners and educate them on cryptocurrency and, how they can actually, there's a lot of content about how to get involved with crypto, but there isn't a lot of content about how to get involved the right way, meaning safety first. Teaching them about the knowledge and terminologies that they need to understand, avoiding scams, being able to understand the difference in blockchains. So we're setting up courses for things like that. We offer different services where we actually assist people one-on-one, with what they need, from setting up a node, selecting a VPS, transferring crypto, all sorts of things. You know, we're setting up, basically, we're creating a community that will serve complete beginners, and we're also going to serve advanced users. So it's a vast project. We have a lot of plans in place. So, you know, we're trying to partner with some, you know, notable names that we can, you know, team up with and collaborate and just bring education to all sorts of platforms. And also we're like multi-chain agnostic. I mean, we're multi-chain, you know, interoperable. We're not focusing on one chain. We're going like all over the place, you know. So this isn't our website. If we actually scroll down a little bit, there is an article here on my website about crypto ed courses, and you can learn, you know, all the different services we have. You can actually visit the website. Right now, we're doing our pre-sale for our beginners boot camp at 40% off, which is only $60 right now. Let's go ahead and go to the website. Yeah, so we're doing the 7-day trial should be over. Excuse me. But right now, our boot camp is only $60. So if you have family and friends and you know that they need, you know, this is the future. It's not about we want people to get involved with crypto. People need to learn about this stuff. They actually need this, you know, the freedom of finance. You know, that's what this whole AMA was about. That's what this giveaway is about. Community engagement, you know, the future of finance, educating people, allowing them to educate their children. And so, you know, you could purchase this for a discount now and share it with your family and friends. So that's the good thing about it. You know, we're getting prepared for the future.
You know, I think another thing too is crypto is only exciting when everything's going to the moon, and when Jim Cramer's telling you to buy. Oh, we can talk about that for a long time. When you know, all of the news channels are telling you to buy this, buy that, and you know, of course, they don't tell you it's at an all-time high, and you know, everything is skyrocketing. The news stories are positive, and that's like the time that everybody wants to start talking about crypto and getting into crypto. The time to learn is actually now. To be honest, you know, I learned in business when I was in e-commerce. I made all the money when I bought, not when I sold, right? So that also means that you don't just buy in a bear market, you learn in the bear market. And education is something in this space that we all need. And education is something that's just ever growing. And it's not just like a one-time thing you learn and you're done. I mean, I'm still learning things. I just see things sometimes. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I'm still learning stuff. So we can all learn. And if you think you are the smartest person in the room, probably should find a different room, because I always like to be the dumbest person in the room and then learn from other people. So I know you and Lefty Chris are great educators, and you guys are, you know, for years. It's actually kind of interesting for people who don't know. I followed David long before I was like ever on Twitter or had a YouTube channel. I remember from the early days, like his first content. So I know you and Chris do a wonderful job educating, and you do a great job for the community. So thanks for just continuing, helping people know what to look for, how to, you know, spot this stuff. What is blockchain? How does it work? How to protect themselves and all that kind of stuff. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You bet. You bet. And, you know, education is one of those things where I think, you know, it's an investment in yourself. Right. And I think investing in yourself is always a good thing. Right. You can't never lose when you invest in yourself. You can always lose sometimes, not always, but you can lose when you invest into maybe a project or cryptocurrency or whatever. You invest in yourself, you learn something, you take what is helpful, you dispose of what is not helpful, and you walk away with something, you know, beneficial. So I think that's always good. Yeah. Anything else on that front? I know tell us a little bit about Chris. Like, what's Chris's background? He's Lefty Chris, by the way, if you guys don't know on Twitter. What's
yeah, let me go to my
Who's this magical guy named Chris?
Yeah, man, he's the man. Chris is like you know, he's like my Superman to my Batman, you know, like we're like the dynamic teammates, you know, because we're working together really well. Y'all give Chris a follow. He's on Twitter. Hold up, looks like my computer froze. Am I frozen?
Yeah.
Oh snap! What happened?
Oh, there you are. I think you're back.
Right, cool. Oh yeah, it said something about. Oh Lord. Okay, so. Let me oh geez, hold up. I messed up the whole live. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, Chris, can we share the screen again? My bad.
Yeah, I don't see you sharing at the moment.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, you guys.
Technical difficulties. David has disappeared due to no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm at someone else's home, so I don't want to really show the background. But yeah, man. So we got, me and Chris have teamed up to put out this education, and this is Chris actually works for Go Plugin, which is a decentralized Oracle platform on the ZenFin blockchain. And he's a community contributor. He's helped hundreds of people set up their nodes. And if anybody knows anything about setting up a Go plugin node, it is it's not extremely tough. I have to take that back. But because there's developers out there who have written smart contracts, and so their experience with that, it might be simple to them. But for the average person, it's a little complex because you have to do a little bit more than just run software and stake. You have to actually deploy a smart contract, change some code and things like that, and generate a brand new private key and all those good things. So it makes it a little bit complicated, but Chris has created so many guides for doing that, and having him as my partner and my teammate, and part founder of Crypto Ed courses is it's amazing. It's an amazing experience because we just complement each other, left and right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's got his degree in physics too. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he's a smart guy. I didn't know he worked for Go Plugin. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I heard that the PLI nodes were really, really difficult to set up. I never did it, but it's just what I heard. They were really, really challenging. So if you can, if you're someone that really understands that, and he's obviously got his degree in physics. I know you guys are both great educators. I know you'll make a great team. So definitely give them a checkout. Give them a checkout. And yeah. So, Veggie Sema says
you.
Chris and David are awesome. Yeah. Thanks for what you guys do.
Yeah.
I just I like partnering with the good guys, right? A lot of bad guys in the space. And I've had the unfortunate experience of sometimes seeing the bad guys firsthand, right? So being able to work with the good guys for a change is it's rare, right? And it's a space where it's easy to take advantage of people. It's a space where it's easy to I hate to just say it, I'll just say how it is, screw people over, right? So when you're out there trying to help people, it's kind of a rare thing, I'd be honest with you. So it comes down to sometimes who's the ones helping the people. And just hope that kind of the actions speak for themselves. And I know you guys are definitely out there looking out for the community, and definitely at Zeta, we're looking out for the community, as we said, and it's why I love talking to you, and I love that you love Zeta and you're willing to come on and talk to the community and tell us what you're doing and what you got going on, and the whole thing, man. It's awesome. So thanks for all that you guys do.
Yeah, man, it's been an awesome experience, man, and just seeing the project working. I just want to spread the good news and make sure, people actually get it and they see things like this. And, the trailing reputation of the, this type of project is, it kind of makes it difficult. But at the end of the day, progress will, actions speak louder than words. Like I said, you guys are transparent. You're delivering on everything you said. And the crazy thing is you're doing it on schedule. You're doing it on time. So that's what's good. And, a lot of transparency, integrity always pays off, man. The things you do in the background that, actually stand for something. And that's it. Nah.
Cool. Well, I don't see any other questions. We picked two winners. Well, I picked two winners. You picked a winner. It was a lot cooler of a way you picked. And we went over just what Zeta Capital is. We hung out. We chatted. We went over what you and Chris are doing. Thanks for joining. I think this was very beneficial. We'll have to do this again. You want to come back on? We'll have to, just chat and see what's going on in the market and maybe give away some zones, right?
Maybe next time you can get Gavin on and I can get Chris on, and it'll be, the thing is, people like to see, more of the team. They want to hear different people's perspectives, and everybody knows Showtime, but we want I believe a lot of people would love to hear Gavin talk about Zeta because I've spoken with him before, and you know he's very brilliant, and his
A smart
perspective
guy, man. I tell you.
needs to be heard. I think he'll be able to clear the message. You know, that's the bridge between people. Most people just don't understand, and you know, once people are able to get that message to their minds and wrap their minds around them, they can make a final decision. Like, yeah, this is cool, right? Or maybe it's not for me, right?
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say if you could take Gavin's brain and Lefty Chris's brain and you could like encapsulate them, I think you could have like the elixir of life or something. I mean, those two guys' brains, man, are like should be in a museum somewhere, I think.
Yes, right.
But yeah, no, definitely. Actually, it's interesting because in the AMA questions channel a couple of weeks ago, I said we're going to do a chat with Gavin. We're still going to do it. We just wanted to get some of these items on the roadmap knocked out so that when he comes on, he can kind of spill the bigger picture of it, right? So give that, you know, a week-ish or so. And yeah, we'll definitely have. I actually want to do like maybe like a roundtable, man. Maybe get you and Chris on and me and Gavin and just, I don't know, just talk about Zeta, talk about crypto, talk about what you guys are doing. Just like a, you know, informal sort of hangout and let people judge as they see fit. I don't know. Just a fun little chat.
Here's my Zeta Zone winner. He says, thank you. This couldn't have come at a better time. Blessed. And then you also have this other tweet where he says, thank you. I feel so blessed. That's awesome,
Brian Debs. I will I'll reach out to him and get him taken care of. And I'll reach out to the other gentleman that won as well. All right. Well, cool, man. Well, I think that's probably going to do it. We covered a lot of ground, and I said we were going to be like really quick, 30, 40 minutes. But, you know, once you get talking, it's fun. It's fun. So, hey, man, thanks for your time.
No problem, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be a part of this. So let's link up again. Let's do it.
We'll do. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks for everybody to join. Thanks for your questions. I hope this was insightful. And until next time, take care.
Peace.